Folks, welcome to the first BRL chat of season 5. Here we've got BigManJoe from the in-game Red Bull team. We've got Gautz from the in-game McLaren team, and we got SikkNig from the in-game Mercedes team. Boys, probably the best place to start is definitely how you're feeling about the season. All three of you have been in the Bwoah Racing League ever since season 3. Some of you even before that. SikkNig and BigManJoe used to be teammates from before season 3. So let's start there, and SikkNig, you can take it away. How's this season going for you, and how does it feel with all the newbies on the track?
It's great to see the new drivers, obviously the league growing. It's wonderful to have, it's great to see such great competition happening firstly, and coming to the part where how the season is going. It hasn't really started for me, but I am trying to get there. Reason being, my wheel has arrived a week, almost 10 days ago, and I'm just trying to get up to speed with that. And the fact is that I'm doing my masters, and now I have to, put in the same amount of effort I used to put in last season. It's just that it does take a lot of time. And now coming to Saudi, which is the next track we'll be racing, correct? If I'm not wrong.
Yep.
So I have again come back to the old rituals of practicing properly and trying to get used to the track and understand the track, where I can overtake, where I cannot overtake, because that's exactly what I wasn't doing in any of the previous races. But I would like to give a special mention to my teammate Baby Shumi, who has been performing brilliantly, I must say. And the way he has picked up that podium firstly in Imola, oh my god, that was like one of the best things to ever see. Not too late for a podium for SikkNig, but soon.
Of course, early days into the season. BigManJoe, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, with every season, I feel the grid is getting much more competitive. I think everyone's getting pretty quick, and now that we have Oxygen, Eccentric, and Envy together, I think everyone's trying to raise their level and try to match their pace as well, which is really good. I think at the start, of course, we all feel, we can't match them, but as the effort keeps coming in, we're like a few tenths away from them, and then with the way the races go, anything can happen. I mean, this is the way the damage model is in this game. Once you lose it, you're gone. So I think with the number of retirements we've been seeing in the last few races, it's a matter of making the least mistakes now. It really counts. So I think the league's going pretty well. New drivers, it's been good to race with them, and looking forward to how the season goes. I think, how many races have we done now? 5 races. For me, it's all been good results and DNFs. There's no in between. So I'd like to rectify that in the coming races. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, great. Gautz, what about yours? How's the season been for you?
Well, yeah, so it's been a great season for me so far. Can't complain. P3 in drivers and P1 in constructors championship. So honestly, it's just been really good so far. I've been playing to my strengths, as in driving safe, not getting penalties, trying not to make mistakes on track, and counting on others to make mistakes on track. As you can see, I mean, my pace hasn't really improved all that much. It's still pretty much the same. And now, as Sikk already mentioned, we're doing our masters, and there's a lot of time that we can't put into the game anymore. So my practice is literally just come down to doing a Grand Prix one day before the race. And well, it seems to be helping out quite a lot, to be honest. So also, yeah, coming to Jeddah this weekend, I have a feeling it's going to be a very bad track for me, because we have less than 5 days to the race, and I still don't know what the track looks like. So I think, apart from the videos I've seen on YouTube. So depending on how well I know the track by, say, this Friday or Saturday, I may or may not drive this Sunday as well. But overall, yeah, coming back to how the season's been, yeah, I had my first podium in France as well. I was fighting for the win. It was a great race for me. Not disappointed that I lost the win, but it was a great feeling to finally get that podium, get back to P1 on the constructors. And yeah, the goal for this season is to win the constructors no matter what. So we're looking at that trophy right there. I have a very capable teammate as well, so very possible.
Yeah, more on that in a bit. You almost took away all my questions, but fair enough. BigManJoe, something everyone clearly realized as soon as it happened. You returned to the top step with the podium for the first time since season 3, Abu Dhabi. How do you feel? And clearly, the way things have been going, even though it's been 3 retirements for you this season, the 2 races you did end up finishing, you ended up on the podium. So, how do you feel going into the next couple of races?
Yeah, if I have some throttle control, I think podium is the minimum, pretty much in every track. And like irrespective of whatever happens, incidents with other drivers, I think pace-wise we are not too far off, at least the top 5. So it's just a matter of having a bit of control, and then yeah, the win at Imola was I don't know what was special that day. It's just everything worked out, and a lot of people having incidents behind. Luckily, it was not me, but then the luck was different in the other races. With Baku was very surprising. Didn't get to do even one corner. So, but I'm not too. Let's say. I'm not sad or disappointed with how it's gone so far, because if you leave aside the DNFs, I think it's been pretty good. So if I can just keep it clean and try not to crash, I think we can do decent. And now I think the way Drunken Monkey is doing, he's also getting used to his wheel now. So his pace also is slowly improving. He drives pretty safe, so I'm trying to push him a bit as well, try a bit more aggressive setups, drive a bit more aggressively, and then I think the pace will come as the season progresses. So I think it's looking good. If I don't DNF or do crash anymore, I think it'll be good for me and for Drunken Monkey as well.
Yeah, and on that note, starting in the front, which you've been doing for a while now, regardless of the retirements, you had Gautz alongside you in the most recent race. How did that feel? How has it been going wheel to wheel with the likes of Gautz? And maybe Gautz, you can tell us how you felt starting from the front as well after.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been many occasions, right, that where me and Gautz have had to battle a lot. So I've always encouraged him, be a bit more aggressive with your battling and have good battles. Don't back away within a few corners, right? So it was nice that he got a better start and we were almost wheel to wheel within turn 1. And yeah, no matter what I said, I'm going to take the outside line. I don't care where Gautz goes. So I think I gave him plenty of space, and we were both clean into turn 1, so which is good. I think he appreciates that. I appreciate that. It was a good battle. So I think looking forward to more battle with Gautz. I think both of us respect each other. We know our racecraft, so it's going to be good going into the season. I think looking forward to more battles. Yeah.
Gautz?
Yeah, so exactly like Danny said, I mean, France has been one of my strongest tracks always, as you've seen last season as well. I had the pole in France, and my quali pace generally is very, very bad. I don't do very well in qualifying. So typically, if you've noticed, I hardly ever qualify in the top 10, but I usually finish in the top 10. So yeah, I thought, okay, France is a strong track, so let's give it whatever I can in quali. And then I had a pretty good quali lap. Was a little disappointed because I was 24 milliseconds slower than BigManJoe there on my fast lap, and thought if I had that extra, few hundredths, would have started probably P2. But yeah, going into turn 1, I mean, I had a better start than BigManJoe, and I thought, okay, let's capitalize. I'm not going to back off from this. And I had that confidence. See, BigManJoe is one of the cleanest drivers on track. So I had that confidence that, into turn 1, he's not going to hit me. I'm not going to hit him because I'm going to be careful, and I know he's going to be careful. So yeah, like he said, we respected each other's space, gave each other enough room, but he had the better exit in the end and maintained position. So yeah, it was very exciting battling at the top. Hopefully I'll get to battle more at the top, but let's see how things go.
Great. Cool. Onwards to SikkNig. You're currently sitting at 21 points and your teammate sits at 89 points. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody from season 4 would have looked at it the other way around or expected it to be the other way around. You've only started 3 races out of the 5 we've had. And yeah, it goes without saying, it's the second half of the season where you really get going. Tell us how the team dynamics been with Baby Shumi and game plan maybe after.
So the way I see it, the team dynamics is pretty good. The way we both start off our quali and the way we discuss things. The only thing is that sometimes there is a person called SV who is also with us, our team principal, and it does have, there are a lot of thoughts that go a little bit like this. But again, he's nice. He actually helps a lot. He's very cautious. So the fact is that SV makes us realize everything in one turn itself, and we need to focus more and listen to SV as well. The good we take the good parts, and if I'm not wrong, it is because of SV strategy that Baby Shumi came P3 in Imola. So I must give credit to SV for being so cautious and keeping an alerted mindset when he's there. I know SV speaks a lot, but everyone knows that that is not a problem. It's fine. He's just the way he is. But I have accepted him as my TP now, which is nice. But again, our action now, like the plan of action now is that me getting up to speed with the wheel and trying to guide Baby Shumi to better podiums is one thing which I have, like the smallest. This is the smallest dream I have for Mercedes right now. I do not have the real. I hope the real Mercedes do not do that, but you know, I want us to win as well. So hoping for more podiums. Fingers crossed. Let's see what happens.
Fair enough. And out of the 3 races you started, were all 3 on the controller or 2 controller, 1 wheel?
2 were on controller, 1 was on wheel.
Okay, so we've barely seen SikkNig in season 5, so
Yeah.
we're just getting
I
started.
was only on the wheel on Imola. So, and you saw what happened in Imola.
Yeah, fair point.
Next took me into 6th dimension. I don't.
Of course. Good. You talk about SV, and let's go on to a question which I wanted to ask all drivers. How important do you think the role of a team principal is this season? Because obviously we tried our best to get 10 non-driver team principals, and some of them are doing incredible. The way SikkNig mentioned how SV is having an impact on the drivers' results. What do you think, SikkNig? Do you think as we go on to race after race, that SV is going to play an even more crucial role, especially in the team championship?
So it's easier said than done. I did agree to the fact that yes, team principal plays a role because he's seeing the overall race and he's seeing our live streams. But the thing is that the driver takes the decision on themselves. They are the people who practice. They are the people who are actually making the moves. They are the people who are saving ERS. So I would say it is a 25-75 thing, where 25 is the team principal's part and 75% is the driver's part in the entire outcome of the race. So that is the way I see it. But again, it's up to the driver's performance, the caliber, and the amount of practice the driver has put in for that specific track. That being said, yeah, the team principal does play a little bit of a role in the entire scene.
Got it. BigManJoe, what about you? I know your team principals more often than not absent, but still, what are your thoughts on the team principal's role this season?
Yeah, I think it can be an effective role, but it depends who it is, right? So imagine you have 2 drivers and let's say you have KDB as your team principal. So during the race, the kind of inputs that he gives to the drivers will actually help them, right? He gives them correct context because he understands where they are at the race, at what point, and what kind of information they need. So for that reason, I think team principal can be a really powerful role, and it can help a lot, even though the drivers deliver the results in the end. But it depends. I think if you have a team principal who's really good, then it's a added bonus. But if you don't have him, I don't think that takes away from anything. I think it's just that the drivers also have to think about the other factors, also think about the race and about their strategy, which usually you can offload to another person. So, if going back to season 3, season 4, none of us had team principals, right? And in season 3, I was driving pretty much half the season alone. So when it comes to strategy, I had to do everything by myself. I had to drive and also think about what's going on in the race. So it can be quite tough, but then if you have another person to help you with that, it's also great. So I think with McLaren, having a team principal, or the other teams, whoever has good team principals, you can see the advantage, the bonus of having another guy helping you out. You can see clearly with those teams. So for my end, I think most of the races we've had, it's either been Drunken Monkey helping me or the other way around, when I DNF or he DNF. So we ideally don't want that, right? So yeah, I think team principal, given how we've set the league up for this season, it can be pretty helpful, but then it depends on the individual.
Yeah. And from what I've heard, even Oxygen, your reserve driver, pops up every now and then and puts in an effort to help as much as he can. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so for the first 2 races, I think when both me and Drunken Monkey were driving, Oxygen helps. So yeah, and then the other part is I know how quick that guy is, right? So when he tells me something, I'm going to listen to it. When he tells me this is the strategy, don't go with this, I'm going to listen to it. So most of the team principals are non-drivers, right? So they don't have that perspective in the game or the experience in the game to give us that confidence to rely on them. So if, let's say, Rakesh comes and tells me, hey, you need to do this strategy, I'm going to think otherwise, So when Oxygen was there, it was quite helpful. I mean, the stuff he was telling was really good, the context he was giving in the race. So I think, yeah, when you get to experience that, then you realize, okay, then team principal can make a big difference. So unless you experience that for yourself, then I don't think you would know. So yeah, he's been great.
Great. Gautz, tricky position you're in. You've lost your teammate early on into the season, Kuberabi, who's got a good haul of points for the team, regardless of it being 5 races only. He's getting a new teammate, though, folks, listening, as well as BigManJoe and SikkNig. You'll find out, you'll see him out on track on the next race. His name is Andridge, and apparently he's pretty quick as well. So Gautz is really gunning for that team championship this season. But regardless, was there an impact of sorts, Gautz, earlier on with your team principal in the first couple of races at least?
Again, like Danny and Sikka mentioned, I mean, season 3 we pretty much raced the entire season without team principals, and in season 4 we had the concept of team principals. And as you're probably aware and have mentioned it many times, my team principal was more or less absent for season 4. So there as well, me and Vix had to sort of fend for ourselves. This season, however, the first 2 races, I think our team principal was with us, and it did kind of make an impact because, like Danny said, when you're on track and you have somebody else doing the thinking for you, then all of a sudden when there's a change in situation and he's assessing the whole thing, he's not concentrating on keeping the car on track and not going into somebody else. So he has that ability to sort of think for you and tell you what to do. So I feel like having a team principal could be really helpful. But then again, this season as well, more or less, we haven't had anybody in our ears except ourselves. So when we're in different positions on track, I tell him what's going on my side of the track, and he tells me what's going on his side of the track. And that way, at least, we know what's going on around, and we discuss strategies ourselves. And nowadays, UK has been in our VC as well because his teammate doesn't show up to races or can't access the VC. So that way, the 3 of us discussing it does kind of help having somebody else in your ear. But yeah, that said, I think in my opinion, at least, yes, having a team principal would help, somebody else overseeing the race and doing the thinking for you. But at the same time, we spent our time without one, and I don't see how it would change things drastically right now, since we're already used to driving ourselves.
All right. Maybe give us a bit of an insight on your future teammate, Andridge, who's recently joined the league. How's his pace, and how confident are you for the team championship at least?
So, like I've already mentioned before, the goal for this season is to win that Constructors Championship no matter what. Initially, Kuberabi and I, we have a great, we work really well as a team, and he's also a really quick driver, as you can see. Unfortunately, though, due to unforeseen circumstances, weather and stuff, his PC has been totaled and will not be able to, or at least wasn't able to take part in the league. But now apparently that has been fixed, and he is available. But yeah, that said, Andre has made an entry into the league, and it'll be great to have him as a teammate. I've already been his teammate in another league, and his pace is also more or less almost as good as mine, maybe a little faster as well. So would be great having him as a teammate, and looking to win this Constructors Championship. So let's see how it goes.
Fantastic. Great. Almost to SikkNig, right before we head into BigManJoe's insights on Jeddah. Already we've heard from Gautz and SikkNig, but SikkNig, game plan for the season itself. I mentioned this before already that the second half is probably going to be your half, just like we saw in season 4. But again, we left off at a high, and it's surprising to see you not at that high anymore. Abu Dhabi, you won the race in season 4. Do you think a race wins sooner is coming sooner than later?
As much as I want to answer that question, I don't want to jinx my chances here, but I would say yes. I would want to win a race, but it's up to how the race pace is, how my contenders are, and how. I mean, it's just up to a lot of parameters which I can't think of right now. So let's just leave it at that moment where we see the result of the race and then we talk.
Fair enough. So we heard from the boys about Jeddah already, BigManJoe. What about you? Thoughts on Jeddah?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of videos about Jeddah from complete polarities. Some people absolutely love it, some people absolutely hate it. I don't know which side is more, but I am on the side somewhere half in between, more inclining towards hating it because I mean, let's not get into personal opinions about the track, right? I think let's see how it goes for BRL. From what races I've seen, with Yarno doing it with 100% AI, with TRL Limitless doing it with online lobbies, it can be decent in the wet because then the track slows down and then can be interesting. But we know it's in the bloody desert; it doesn't rain there. And then, I think even though there's so much high-speed corners, tire wear is very less, which is very interesting. I think maybe new tarmac, so there's no tire wear. I don't know how that works, but I think KDB, given that this is a street track, is going to be the favorite. I think I was talking about this with Gautz earlier. He tends to do well in street track, so he's going to be the favorite. Envy is also going to be up there. And then it's a matter of how many people can lose the least amount of wings. And then you get the results from that, pretty much.
Fantastic. Great. I think we can leave it there. Thanks for joining me, boys, and good luck for the next race. See you.